In the description box below this video is a link where you can download my Excel spreadsheet that contains a complete compilation from multiple authoritative sources of the 2025 whole season stats covering all 15 weeks of the regular season for all 136 college football teams. Also, as a bonus, I put a second link where you can download my Excel spreadsheet that contains a complete compilation of Vegas point spreads, betting ATS trends, and other key metrics for all the bowl games and playoff games from December 13th, 2025 through January 1st, 2026, New Year's Day. First, let's look at the first Excel file, which has the 2025 whole season stats covering all 15 weeks of the regular season for all 136 college football teams. Go to the description box below this video, click the link at the top, and it will take you to my Google Drive, which has my Excel file named All College Stats 2025. To download this Excel file to your computer, click File, Download, Microsoft Excel. Once you've downloaded this Microsoft Excel file to your computer, click Enable Editing. At the bottom of the Excel file are two tabs. The green tab has all the college football season stats as a regular Excel spreadsheet. The pink tab has the season stats presented as a table with sortable columns. The third row has arrows that you can click and sort the columns. The first column has the names of the college football teams. You can sort this column from A to Z. The second column has the conferences. You can also sort by conference. To reset the spreadsheet, just go back to the first column and sort A to Z. The next four columns has power ratings from 4 different authoritative sources. The first one is FPI, Football Power Index from ESPN. The second column is Bill Connelly's SP Plus Power Rating, which is also published on ESPN. The third power rating is Team Rankings Power Rating. And the fourth column is Jeff Sagarin's College Football Ratings. Let's look at these sources. So the FPI is ESPN's Football Power Index. So if you go to NCAAF and rankings, they will have the FPI, the Football Power Index. This web page also has 3 tabs. You can click Resume, where you can see the strength of record and strength of schedule. The third tab has efficiencies, where you can see their overall efficiency, their efficiency on offense, defense, and special teams. So going back to FPI, Football Power Index gives you the relative ratings of the teams compared to the other teams. So we see here that Indiana has the highest power rating. Then you have Ohio State, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Georgia, Miami, Alabama. They also have win NC percentage, which is the probability that the team will win the national championship, and they have Indiana ranked with the highest probability of 25.9%. So the second power rating is from Bill Connelly, and he is a sports analytics expert, and he joined ESPN in 2019. He has his own separate power rating, separate from the FPI, which he calls the SP Plus rankings. So Bill Connelly states that the SP Plus is a predictive and forward-facing power rating. So all these power ratings you can use to create point spreads. You can calculate your own point spreads. So Bill Connelly published his most recent power rating, and this includes the whole season. So you have Indiana 13-0, Ohio State 12-1. In his ratings, he still has Ohio State rated number 1. He also breaks it down by offense, defense, special teams. The third group of power ratings are from Team Rankings. Team Rankings was founded in the year 2000, about 25 years ago, from some Stanford graduates, and they do sports analytics. And they have their power ratings. They have Indiana number 1 and Ohio State. Their rating is Indiana 33, Ohio State 33. So Jeff Sagarin calculates power ratings, and the story of Jeff Sagarin is he has a bachelor's degree in math from MIT. He also has an MBA from Indiana, and he has power ratings for college football as well as for college basketball. And they have authority. If you consider that the NCAA college basketball, when they make their brackets for March Madness, they incorporate Jeff Sagarin's power ratings. And also the BCS, when it was in existence for college football, they also used Jeff Sagarin's power ratings. So he publishes his power ratings also. He has different versions. The one that I use is the strong recent power rating, which has Indiana rated number 1 and Ohio State rated number 2. And as he explains, these ratings, if you subtract them, gives you a calculated point spread on a neutral field. So I extracted these power ratings from these web sources and put them here. And what I did here is you can sort. If you want to get them at the strongest one, you can sort here, FPI, largest to smallest, and you'll get the highest power rating there. You can also sort Bill Connelly, and then also Team Rankings and Jeff Sagarin. So, and then to reset it, just go back to the first column and sort A to Z. Next to them, I include a point differential, which is offense versus defense, points scored per game, minus points allowed per game for all the team. And these are just raw stats. Part of the reason why I did that was if you don't have the power ratings, this gives you an idea of the strength of the teams. But if you let's sort the FPI here. The power ratings correlate with the point differential, which is the average margin of victory of the teams. But what the power ratings do is they incorporate strength of schedule, strength of the opponents. But at the core of these ratings, there is the point differential, which is offense minus defense. Now, in college football, it's hard to tell because the teams have different strengths. However, in pro leagues, like the NFL, the power rating and the point differential have a stronger correlation. So let's go back to the first column here and sort from A to Z. Next, I include win-loss, win percentage. ATS here I have is the number of times that a team covers the point spread. So let's looking at Air Force, the first team, they played 12 games. They covered 5 times. They didn't cover 7 times, and that third 0 is a push. And you can actually sort by the cover percentage. And we see here in green are the teams that that cover the point spread greater than 70% of the time. Texas Tech is number 1 this season. They're the cover king for the season. They cover the point spread 92% of the time. They're 12-1, which means that they play 13 games. If you bet on them, you would have won 12 times and lost only 1 time. Then Ohio State's 83%, Utah State is 83%, Vanderbilt is 82%. So resetting this here, sorting A to Z. I also include strength of record. So strength of record is the strength of the team's record incorporating the strength of their opponents or the quality of their opponents. So let's sort here. the ranking number 1 here, Indiana has the number 1 strength of record. Number 2 is Georgia. Number 3 is Texas A&M. So it incorporates the strength of schedule. So resorting A to Z. Going to the right. Here I include information from team rankings. So win-loss, win percentage, margin of victory. ATS is against the point spread, percentage of times that they covered, the average margin or the average number of points that they covered by. I also include over and under information. So we have here, we have Massachusetts, Nebraska, UTSA, and Navy. They cover they went over the total, the Vegas total, by 70%. Looking at the unders, we see that Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Wyoming went under 83% of the time. So resetting at A to Z. So we have Bill Connelly's here's the Bill Connelly's SP power rating, but I also include his breakdown with offense, defense, and special teams. How are these related? So let's sort here. Ohio State. What you do is you take the offense, subtract the defense, add special teams, and that gives you the overall number. Then I include key information from ESPN, strength of record, strength of schedule, the rankings of the committee, the College Football Playoff Committee rankings. So to me, it's interesting to compare the committee rankings with the strength of record. So let's do that. So Indiana is ranked number 1, and they have the number 1 strength of record. And we see some discrepancies here. So let's look at Notre Dame. Their strength of record is 13. Alabama's 10. Miami's 14. But Miami beat Notre Dame in a head-to-head. But Alabama, even with 2 losses in the regular season and then a third one in the SEC championship game, they still have a higher strength of record. And then win NC percentage is the probability that a team will win the national championship, and Indiana and Ohio State are favored to win the national championship, and Indiana just by a little bit. So sorting, you can sort A to Z. Here is the efficiencies. That's on the FPI, ESPN's Football Power Index. If you click the third tab, you'll go to efficiencies. So you have offense, defense, and special teams. This is good for matchups. So you want to say, okay, 2 teams are playing. How does Team A's offense match up against Team B's defense? And then these stats are, the following stats here are from ESPN, and these are raw stats. Here I have the point differential, and that's the points scored per game minus points allowed per game. Offense minus defense. I also include yard differential. That's total yards gained per game minus total yards allowed by the defense per game. Then we have the offense, which is points per game. And then I have here offense yards per game, also broken down by passing and rushing. And then the same information on the defensive side. In this group here, I also include the QBR, but this is QBR from ESPN. And this is their, they have their QBR for college football. And their QBR also includes, it's an adjusted total quarterback rating, which values the quarterback on all play types, adjusted for strength of opposing defenses. So it considers how hard the fate of the opposing defense is. And the scale goes from 0 to 100, 100 being the top. They have the season leaders here. Number 1 is USC's quarterback. and number 2 is Ohio State's quarterback, and number 3 is Indiana's quarterback. If you're interested, the third tab here has all-time bests, and the best ever was Mac Jones, Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray. Then you have Joe Burrow, Tua, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck. Tua's twice. Then you have Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford. So all-time greats, the top 10 are over 90 in their rating. So here, USC's quarterback is 90, and then you got the Ohio State and Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner, and he's at 88. So this information I put into the spreadsheet so that you can see the QBR of the starting quarterbacks for those teams. So DNQ is they have to play a certain number of snaps to qualify. But if you sort here, we see these are the top players. QBR, USC, Ohio State, Indiana, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Arkansas, Notre Dame, etc. The next grouping, I have Jeff Sagarin's information as well as the link to his website. And the final column has the team conferences again. So this information was then used. So this information is in the Excel file called All College Stats 2025. And this information was then used to construct the spreadsheet with the title Bowl Playoffs 2025-2026. Part 2 of this video will present a discussion of the free Excel file that you can download that contains a complete compilation of Vegas point spreads, betting, ATS trends, and key metrics for all the bowl games and playoff games from December 13th, 2025 through January 1st, 2026, New Year's Day. Go to the description box below this video, click the link at the top, and it will take you to my Google Drive, which has my Excel file named Bowl Playoffs 2025-2026. To download this Excel file to your computer, click File, Download, Microsoft Excel. Once you've downloaded this Microsoft Excel file to your computer, click Enable Editing. At the bottom of the Excel file are 4 tabs. The yellow tab has all the bowl games and playoff games presented as a regular Excel spreadsheet. The other 3 tabs have the bowl games and playoff games presented as tables with sortable columns. The blue table has the bowl games with Vegas point spreads. The pink table has the first round of playoffs played on December 19th and December 20th, 2025. And the red table has the quarterfinal games, played on December 31st, 2025 and January 1st, 2026, New Year's Day. First, let's look at the blue table, which has all the bowl games. Zooming in, the first column has the games numbered. So the first game on this list is Boise State and Washington Huskies. All of the bowl games are neutral site games except the first round of the playoffs, which are games 8, 9, 10, and 11. These will be played at the home of the higher seed, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Oregon. All other games are neutral site games. So this table serves as an index table. And to reset the table, you can always click in the third row, the triangle here, and sort from A to Z. And it'll sort all these games and reset the table. So you have game 1 here, game 2 here. So even though it says road and home, all these games are neutral site games except for games 8, 9, 10, 11, which are the first round of the playoffs. The second column has the names of the teams. Game 1 is Boise State versus Washington. Game 2 has Troy versus Jacksonville. And as you scroll down here, we see the first round of the playoffs. Alabama's playing Oklahoma at Oklahoma. Miami's playing at Texas A&M. Tulane's playing at Ole Miss. James Madison's playing at Oregon. The numbering of these games are based off of their sequence on VegasInsider.com. For these bowl games, this is roughly based on calendars. So the games at the top are the games that are played earlier, and the games further down are games played later. So the sequences of these games will match the sequence that you'll see on VegasInsider.com on their college football scoreboard, as well as their web page with the odds. So you can just go down the web page and look at the corresponding spreadsheet. And because they're based on calendar dates, the sequencing will be close to what you'll see on ESPN's college football scoreboard. So you have the names of the teams, their conference. Then I put the Vegas point spread. So these numbers, these Vegas point spreads, are from VegasInsider.com. And these point spreads, because the point spreads can move from their opening to the actual game day. Just to let you know here, these point spreads were from December 16th, 2025. December 16th, 2025, about 5 p.m. So you have the actual Vegas point spread. And then to compare, what I did was I calculated the point spread. It's a calculated point spread using 4 different authoritative sources. The Football Power Index from ESPN.com, Bill Connelly's SP Plus Power Rating, also published on ESPN, TeamRankings.com has their own power ratings, and Jeff Sagarin's college power ratings. So in the yellow columns are the calculated point spreads, and right next to it are the differences between the calculated point spread and the Vegas point spread. So going back to the blue table here, you got the Vegas point spread, ESPN's power rating, and using these numbers, I calculated a point spread. And then this middle column has the difference between the FPI and the Vegas point spread. So these calculations are simplified because they're neutral site games. You don't have to factor in home field advantage, except for in the first round of the playoff, the games 8 through 11. So basically, for these neutral site games, you just subtract the point spreads. You subtract the power ratings to get the point spreads. So let's look at the first game, which is Boise State and Washington, subtracting 13 and 5.1. And these numbers are from ESPN. that gives you the point spread on a neutral field. Then I compared it to the Vegas point spread. And then the difference here tells you whether the ESPN's number matches Vegas's number, and there's some differences. And what I did here was I highlighted in green the numbers where the difference is 2 points or higher. So let's sort here. So if you click this triangle and sort from largest to smallest, you'll see that some of these games have differences of greater than a touchdown. So Cincinnati's game, ESPN's FPI gives them an advantage of 13 points, UConn advantage of 11, LSU advantage of 11, Penn State advantage of 9. So this is where you can see differences between ESPN's power rating and Vegas's calculated point spread. So Vegas has their own power rating. They calculate their point spreads. And then what my spreadsheet does is it allows you to see the difference. Now to reset the table, just go back to the first row and sort from A to Z. And that sorts by game. You can also sort alphabetically. You can sort by conference. So resetting the table, we're going to sort from A to Z. So that's next. What I did was I did the same procedure with Bill Connelly's number. And just to quickly show you where I get this information. So ESPN has their Football Power Index, FPI. Bill Connelly, he is a sports analytics expert. He publishes his power ratings, SP Plus power ratings, also on ESPN. Team rankings. This is they've been doing sports analytics for 25 years. Founded by some Stanford graduates. And Jeff Sagarin publishes his power ratings. Jeff Sagarin, his power ratings are used by the NCAA to when they determine their March Madness brackets, and when in the past for college football they used when they had the BCS, they used Jeff Sagarin's numbers, so he's an authority. So similar procedure. So I took the numbers for Bill Connelly, calculated the point spread. And again, neutral site games, you just subtract the two numbers. That gives you the calculated point spread, and then you can compare that to Vegas's numbers. So let's sort here, largest to smallest. And again, UConn, Bill Connelly's predicting that they have a 17-point advantage. So UConn, Memphis, Penn State, Cincinnati, and App State are all given a 7-point advantage by Bill Connelly. So how do we interpret this? So let's say, so you have Vegas, their point spread is 8.5. You say, okay, I'm going to bet UConn plus 8.5. ESPN's FPI says that they will win by minus 2.9, which means they'll cover. They have an advantage of 11.4 points, a pretty large cushion, a large safety margin. Bill Connelly says they're going to win by 8.8 points, giving them a 17-point margin. So green is good. So in these, when you see these triangle columns, that means that they're getting, the green numbers says that they're getting an advantage of 2 points or more, and that's a thing that you want to look at. Of course, you want to do your own individual analysis, look at the records, win-loss, against the spread, their recent performance. You got to look at their injuries. Also, you want to look at if there's any coaching changes. Was the coach fired? Are they hiring new coaches? Is the coach leaving? Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Opt-outs. Are the quarterbacks opting out? Are any other key players opting out, either because they're transferring or because they're preparing for the NFL? But statistically, this spreadsheet shows you where there's statistical potential opportunities. So again, going back to the first column, we're going to reset this table. So the next grouping, team rankings, these numbers come directly from the team ranking site. Similar procedure. This, we can sort from largest to smallest, and we see here that they're Cincinnati, LSU, UConn, Penn State, and South Florida are all have an advantage based on team rankings. So then we're going to also do Jeff Sagarin's numbers, sorting largest, smallest. He also gives an advantage to UConn, Texas State, Troy, Washington State, South Florida, Miami, LSU, and Cincinnati, Wake Forest, Utah, USC. I'm gonna resort that. So those are the so you got basically the first section here of the spreadsheet. You have the Vegas point spread, and then from 4 different sources, I'm putting I'm highlighting where the calculated point spreads show that there is an advantage based on power ratings from 4 different sources. Next, I provide the point differential, which is the point spread difference. Next to the, so here's Jeff Sagarin, and right next to that, I include the point differential. The point differential is directly from the statistics, which is a team's points scored per game minus points allowed per game, offense minus defense per game. I put that here. Then using this number, I'm using this as a raw power rating. I calculate a point spread based on this point differential, and I also do a point spread difference. The reason why I put this is the core of the power ratings is actually the point differential. However, what they do is they make various adjustments, most importantly, adjustments of the strength of opponents, the strength of schedule. So that's why I grouped that there. So it's because it's the core statistic that goes into these calculations. It's nice to see it there. So in the next grouping here, what I did was I put the Vegas point spread as of December 16th. I also put the opening point spread and also the difference between the opening point spread and the point spread as of December 16th, 2025. And some of these games have large movements, which indicates that Vegas has had to change the point spread due to activity among bettors. For example, Cincinnati started off as a favorite of minus 6.5. Now they're an underdog of 6.5. So Vegas moved that point spread 13 points. That's a large variation. And it definitely merits closer observation. Why is there a change? Now Vegas changes the point spread in response to betting patterns, and occasionally they'll make some adjustments related to injuries, but a lot of times it's relating to betting patterns. So a lot of these games have stayed about the same, but there's been games where Vegas has added 13 points, 12 points, 6.5 points. So these are pretty large variations. And they've also made adjustments on the negative side. So the line movements are something to keep an eye on. So next to that, those columns here, I put the opposing team, so that when you do these sorting things, you'll be able to see in the row what team they're playing against. So Boise State is playing against Washington. Washington is playing against Boise. So next, what I have here is I provide, for your convenience, all key statistics, which are also found in the spreadsheet called All College Stats 2025. All College Stats 2025. So in the description box below this video are two spreadsheets, the bowl playoffs spreadsheets and the All College Stats spreadsheets. So those statistics in the All College Stats spreadsheet, the All College Stats spreadsheet has all the statistics and trends and key metrics for all 136 FBS Division I college football teams. The bowl playoffs extracts that information and organizes it by games. So what I did in the bowl playoffs is, on this spreadsheet with the games, is I've included all those statistics, such as win-loss, against the spread, strength of record, over-under, Bill Connelly's breakdown between offense, defense, special teams, strength of record, probability of winning the national championship, strength of schedule, efficiencies of offense and defense, point differential, yard differential, offense points scored per game, yards gained, passing yards, rushing yards, also defense, points allowed, yards allowed, QBR, Jeff Sagarin's power ratings. And all of these key metrics and statistics I explain further in my discussion of the All College Stats spreadsheet. So again, going back to the first column where we sort by games. So these are all the bowl games, including the first round. Now let's take a look at the pink tab. So if you look at the second tab here, playoffs December 19th and December 20th, what I did was same information, but I'm putting on this particular tab, I only include the first round of the playoffs. Alabama at Oklahoma, Miami at Texas, Tulane at Ole Miss, James Madison at Oregon. And as we can see here, based on FPI, Miami and James Madison, their point spreads, they have around a field goal advantage. Bill Connelly gives an advantage to James Madison, 5 points. Oklahoma, 5 points. Team rankings. So for these playoff games, first round of the playoffs, the point spreads are pretty close. He gives an advantage to Miami and Ole Miss. Jeff Sagarin gives Oklahoma an advantage, Miami an advantage, and Ole Miss an advantage. Now looking at the red tab here, what I did was going beyond that first round. These are the quarterfinal games that will be played on December 31st and January 1st. So what I did was I took the 1 seed, which is Indiana. Then I did a hypothetical where we have Indiana playing Alabama, Indiana playing Oklahoma. Then we have Ohio State. So every combination of games that will be played on December 31st and January 1st. So I have information for Indiana, Alabama, Indiana, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Miami, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Georgia, Tulane, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, James Madison, Texas Tech, Oregon. The only thing missing is the actual Vegas point spread, which will be posted by Vegas after the first round of the playoffs. So this information is not available at this time. But you can put this information here, and then using the spreadsheet, you can see the difference between the Vegas point spread and the calculated point spread. Now, I've already included the calculated point spreads. So if Indiana plays Alabama, Indiana will be favored by 8.6 points. If they play Oklahoma, they're going to be favored by 12 points. Miami would be favored by 7 points. Ohio State will be favored by 7 points over Miami, 9 points over Texas A&M. Georgia is favored by 17.8 points over Tulane. Georgia will be favored by 3.4 points over Ole Miss. Texas Tech will be favored by 13 points over James Madison. Texas Tech will actually be an underdog versus Oregon, and that's based on ESPN's FPI. Similarly, I did that for Bill Conley. Team rankings, and Jeff Sagarin. The only thing missing are these gray columns because the point spread hasn't been there. But with a spreadsheet, you can do the calculations yourself. And then the final tab here, the yellow tab, has all the information presented as a regular spreadsheet without the tabs. So the top has the bowl games. Then at the bottom, I have the potential matchups on December 31st and January 1st.